I'm gonna organize this by the amount of brain damage, from least to most. Starting this off with level 1. Old-fashioned. This is the person who is free of technology. Sometimes they get bored, but that's when they
crack open a cold one with the boys. Obesity scooter racing through Walmart at 2 a.m., getting chased out by the manager who very clearly needed that scooter.
But when they wake up hungover, they may read a book to pass the time, or take a nice leisurely stroll through the park.
Oh bro, hold it for a sec. Safe thing is you just hand it over in it.
But since their dopamine receptors aren't fried, that ends up being an adrenaline-filled memory because it's the biggest spike of chemicals they had in their brain in a very long time, but that one moment turned them towards isolation. Level 2. The lurker. Always watching, but never participating. Kinda like a meditative state, a cuck, or a stalker. Your pick. They may read the comments and judge them, maybe even on a rare occasion leaving a like.
Hey little bro, are you winning? But then we have level 3, the average. This is the majority of people, and it's more worrisome than any of us even realizes. The average screen time globally is 7 hours a day. If you count the waking hours of life you have, it's about 44% of your life wasted to some brain rot. Wake up! Recent estimates from studies put the average human attention span at just roughly 8.25 seconds, which is shorter than
Hey buddy, check this out.
Your chicken's looking nice, pal.
Woo! Yo, he stole my chicken!
Got a crispy treasure, can't slow me down. Hot and golden, I'm mad at this town. Move, move, Friday victory.
I can't believe MJ would do that.
Anyone who has educated themselves on the matters of marketing, propaganda, influence, and manipulation will come to learn how deeply entrenched we are in all of these things. With algorithms and personally selected communities, the ability to see outside of your echo chamber becomes increasingly difficult.
I feel as if being a billionaire is morally questionable. What's a golden yacht worth if your fellow human is barely surviving?
Hey, you're starting to sound a bit like a communist, eh? There's nothing wrong with having infinite money, my friend. Now, go to your room and think about what you just said.
The internet has made this so scary because false information spreads faster than an honest response. False information leads to a response, but just like a TV show, there are more viewers on the first episode than on the last one. So the misinformation holds dominance. And then there's level 5, the doomscroller. I feel as if this originates from a need to escape your life. When you can't face the pain inside of you or around you, the only solution available is numbing via dopamine. That could be scrolling, even something as grotesque as porn.
A few inches later.
Everything at this point has lost its novelty, since at this point the whole world has been lived through the eyes of someone on a screen. So people go down 3 different paths here. Either they realize they need to fix themselves, or they try to play out their corrupt minds in real life. But the horrific third option is Level 6, the terminally online. This is where obsession meets enablers. This is often when the people who have been ignored for too long find community in any place that will accept them, even at the risk and cost of putting a mask over their authentic self. But hey, sometimes they gotta take off the mask.
Now that the mask is off, I can participate in my second favorite hobby,
idol worship. This is extremely common in this phase. It could be a musician, an anime character, even a politician. In this frame, their person of interest is dripping in a light of benevolence, as if all they do is holy.
In recent news, Generic Celebrity 3 caught stealing the soul of their terminally ill fan.
How kind of them to provide them with eternal salvation.
When people outsource their identity to a machine made to extract cash from them, that very machine will take people's desire to be seen, follow, and worship and warp it into something grotesque. If you are at the point where you have a deep, meaningful, parasocial relationship, if you didn't catch the silliness of that statement, think about it. These people don't know you, don't care about you, and generally just want your money. Not only that, but they're fake, genuinely fake. The songs are written by ghostwriters to appeal to you. To be at this stage, you are in love with a corporation, not a person. But once they meet their heroes in person, it all changes.
OMG OM Generic Celebrity 3! I love you! Have my kids!
Level 7, the vegetable. Here they can't even get through anything anymore. Now here's the cure to brain rot. Oh, come on, why isn't this doing anything? Oh right, it's because our brains have been so fried that normal life is no longer stimulating, which leads to people doing more and more extreme things just to feel something. This is hedonism at its peak, and honestly it's where our future is headed. Now we have iPad kids, which grow up with one-way communication. Children used to grow up talking to their parents, but now the communication is just their device to them, which is obviously extremely crippling to the advancement of their social capabilities. These future adults will end up being borderline unable to talk to each other. Some months back, I witnessed this in an elevator.
That's what I was doing. They never text me.
So where are we headed as a population? Honestly, either a deep immersion into some form of virtual reality, totalitarianism, or societal collapse. The way I look at it, as long as we have food, water, shelter, and entertainment, collapse won't happen. But as I'm sure most of us younger folk have noticed, the cost of living is no longer very sustainable for a single individual.
Where am I?
Level 8. Tapped in and tapped out. Tech-human interactions evolve fast. In less than a century, the phone was on the wall, and now it's in your pocket, and through Bluetooth, it can even be in your ears. So what's the next step? Integration. We already have wearables, we already have implanted devices for hearing, we already have an early brain-computer interface which is trialed for paralyzed patients right now, and that's not sci-fi, it's just current reality. So now imagine the trajectory that is continuing here. I'm just saying the subtle integration enhancements. In the relatively far future, when these neural brain chips are much more advanced, they could regulate your mood, they could increase your focus, they could suppress your stress, and even destroy your anxiety or dial in your serotonin. And when you can regulate things like dopamine, this is where things get very odd. Since once most humans are mentally dialed in, anyone who is not microchipped will be considered mentally ill at worst, and at the very least considered unsuperior. And so it kind of creates a situation where if we ever get to that point, people are going to be forced to do this or get left behind. Short-term rewards keep you alive in the jungle, but give the same brain an infinite artificial reward supply, then it won't regulate itself. Technology isn't inherently dangerous or dystopian. The dystopia comes from an old survival brain put into a modern system. I mean, look at this one clip to see how fast trends spread. Humans copy momentum faster than they question it. The internet was once seen as a fad, and so I guess let me ask you guys this. Do you think the internet is going away? Despite the harm of certain advancements, they don't reverse. AI is just the next stage for the same cycle we did a mere 30 years ago. Technologies don't easily reverse once they provide economic leverage, provide convenience, create dependency, and embed into infrastructure. And as we could see with AI, it's kind of been done for most of these things. And so once immersion becomes normal, once bliss becomes adjustable, once discomfort can be muted, we'll be tapped in, but mentally tapped out. Not dead, but the line between who you really are and who you artificially are will be deeply questioned. But if you really want to question who you are, feel free to watch this video right here.